Ladies and gentlemen, today we start the first of 6 videos, which is going to be a series looking at the top 5 champions for every class in 12.0 from my perspective. So I'm going to be giving my thoughts on every class, who I believe are kind of the top 5 and most valuable champions to get, and also explaining a little bit about what makes every character so valuable and why, I rank them in a certain order. So today we're going to be starting off by one of the most difficult classes, talking about Mystic champions. Mystic, if you've been playing the game for a while, you'll know is by far the most valuable class in the game. Mystic champions, like all of them, are just so naturally good, and as well with the Mystic Dispersion and Mastery, that really beefs up a lot of Mystic champions and just makes them even better, because that allows pretty much any Mystic character to have insane power gain on the majority of fights, and also really bolsters their ability as an Alliance War defender. So yeah, really like the Mystic class. There is a lot of tough competition here, because there aren't really any Mystic characters that are absolute trash. Like, there are some that are a little bit lackluster in comparison to others, like Loki and 4Jane Foster, because they have a little bit going for them, but not enough in comparison to the likes of some of the amazing characters at the top. So anyway, we're going to start with champion number 5, which is DORMAMMU. So we managed to recently get a 4-star DORMAMMU from a very lucky winged crystal. I feel like it had something to do with us not opening featured hero crystals for about 2 months, because that has been known to happen before on some like inactive accounts. So it's a little bit suspicious the circumstances we got DORMAMMU under, but we got him as a 4-star. I've yet to rank him up as a 4-star, but I've done quite a lot of testing around with a 3-star. DORMAMMU's ability to control the opponent's power is really phenomenal. Like, on his kind of medium combo, he not only does the target not gain power from the final hit, but it will also deplete up to 7.5% of the target's max power. And now on paper, that doesn't really sound like a lot, but when you're in a fight, it just completely locks the opponent down. Really reduces their power gain by a really substantial amount. And then also, when you're imbued with the special attack 2, you can not only power lock your opponent, but you can also, when you're imbued, for every hit, it will drain a large percentage of the target's max power. So kind of this combined with his medium ending combo just really shuts down like the opponent's power gain. It's really good. You got a solid power lock, solid power drain, and as well as that, DORMAMMU also has a nullify on his special 1. On his special 3, he has a little bit of a regeneration there. Isn't too helpful, to be honest. It's okay. It just it isn't what you want it to be, though. It's one of the weakest regenerations in the game, but hey, it's a bit of an option if you need to resort to it. As well as that, what's really good about DORMAMMU as well is he's immune to all poison and bleed effects, so it just makes him a really strong utility champion there. And when DORMAMMU is awakened, he gains an ability called Soul Leech, which basically, when a debuff expires on the opponent, has a chance to degen them for like a significant amount of his attack. Makes him a very good Alliance War defender. So I think DORMAMMU not only has a very solid use when it comes to kind of Alliance War defense, but also in terms of questing, offensive gameplay, I think he might be quite a good Alliance War attacker as well. And also with the patch, we've seen kind of block proficiency brought up to a bit more of an even rate. That was one of the big problems with DORMAMMU pre-patches. He took a lot of damage whenever he parried, had very low block proficiency, but now it's kind of on this diminishing return scale. It looks like he parries like pretty close to somebody like Sturgill now, whereas before there was quite a big distance between the two champions. So yeah, I'm hopeful that DORMAMMU is going to become one of the best champions, especially when he's a little bit more readily available. Also has a bit of an interesting synergy here with Mordo, which non-robot villain champions have a 20% chance to revive at 10% health when receiving a knockout blow. So I think there's some interesting stuff you can do with that synergy as well. So that is number 5, ladies and gentlemen. He is DORMAMMU. So at number 4, I would have to say is probably one of my personal favorite champions to play. Really fun champion, MAGIK. MAGIK is a great utility champion, an exceptional Alliance War defender. So the main stuff that makes Magic so incredibly good is you have her limbo state whenever she has a chance to proc whenever you're using a special attack or whenever you reach a bar of power, and it's so good. During the limbo state, you rewind any damage taken, and you also deal a significant amount of energy damage based on your attack. So it makes Magic really, really annoying to fight, and probably the worst boss of Labyrinth of Legends. But as a character to play, very, very fun. Has a very strong power lock on the special too, which has 85% chance to apply, so it's not quite 100%, but it does last for a substantial amount of time. At rank 3, it's 9 seconds, so it's quite a long power lock there. And also special attack 3 is amazing if you go up against like a Groot in Alliance Quest or an Old Man Logan, because that will nullify all of the enemy's buffs and deal a huge amount of additional damage for every buff nullified. So yeah, really, really good stuff there with Magic. Just a really solid utility champion and Alliance War Defender. Like most champions that can control power, really, really good in my opinion. So next up, now we kind of have 3 champions here, which all, I believe, like possess like amazing potential for kind of attack options, like Alliance Quest attack or questing in general. And those characters, the top 3 are Ghost Rider, Dr. Voodoo, and Scarlet Witch. Now they all work in very, very different ways and have a lot of utility, but I just want to cover kind of the main thing, which is regeneration, because that's what a lot of people are really looking for in characters at the moment, and they all have very different ways that they can work their regen. So Ghost Rider's regen, it takes a little while to build up, a few combo hits, and you need to get the judgments right and understand how that works. But I think overall, Ghost Rider is the most powerful regeneration champion that you can 100% rely on to do the stuff. The problem with Scarlet Witch is her regeneration, again, is completely random. So while it is strong when it does proc, like you don't know if it's ever going to proc, you can't rely on it actually procking. So it's a little bit difficult there. In terms of Dr. Voodoo's regeneration, he regenerates for quite a bit at the start of the fight, especially when you have him awakened. But that's it. There's no in-fight regeneration. But kind of some additional kind of like flatline advantages and disadvantages. Ghost Rider deals substantially less damage in terms of longer fights than both Dr. Voodoo and Scarlet Witch. Ghost Rider, however, does have some more interesting utility. There's a lot you can do with Ghost Rider. It has kind of like a power lock, a fate seal, and Nullify is level 1. So I'd say Ghost Rider probably ranks at number 3 just because its damage output is just a little bit too much behind Dr. Voodoo and Scarlet Witch for me. I think it's really, really tough for kind of the top spot here because Dr. Voodoo and Scarlet Witch do come very, very close to each other. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit more about Ghost Rider and what he can do. So we did a video earlier this week on him, just to kind of quickly recap his abilities, though, if you missed that out. So he has kind of judgments, and they weave together, and you can make kind of the next one more powerful. Has a very strong bleed, a very strong attack bonus. Has a nullify on a special 1 and a fate seal, so that's really, really good. And again, you can increase the duration of any judgment just by kind of stacking other judgments before it. Has a power drain on a special 2, has a special 3, applies a judgment of damnation, which power locks and heal blocks and fate seals the opponent, and also Ghost Rider is fully immune to bleeding. So a lot of really, really good stuff there, as well as being able to activate a regen on his heavy attack, which at the moment at rank 4 is healing for about 350 every hit. I've seen some 550 ones, like while you have that buff active, healing for about 500 every hit. So there's some really, really powerful stuff. If you want to find out a little bit more about Ghost Rider, we did do a pretty in-depth video on him earlier this week. So anyway, let's talk about Dr. Voodoo and the stuff that he has. So Dr. Voodoo is probably, again, it's really, really close between Scarlet Witch and Dr. Voodoo. I think Scarlet Witch has a little bit more damage output from the testing that I've done, but the thing is, I got really, really lucky and managed to get 5-star Voodoo, and then we managed to awaken him with the Mystic Gem. So I think in regards to kind of what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to rank down my Scarlet Witch just so I can take Voodoo up to rank 4, because as a 5-star, he has a higher ceiling of power, and is probably going to be better at that level. So I'm interested to kind of play around there. But from what I've been playing with Voodoo so far, I love this character so much. He has so much very interesting stuff that he can do. So ideally, you do need Voodoo to be awakened for him to be like a pretty decent champion. He's now in the 3 and 4 star crystals, if you weren't already aware of that. But yeah, his awakened ability, basically is Brother Daniel, and Brother Daniel will possess either Dr. Voodoo or his opponent, moving between them based on Dr. Voodoo's combo meter when he uses a special attack. So if it's a even combo, Dr. Voodoo becomes possessed and gains 100% increased ability accuracy. So all of your stuff that has a 50% chance to proc, and there's quite a lot of stuff, will now have a 100% chance to proc while you have that active, and you always start the fight when you're possessed. And also increases the buff duration, which basically increases regeneration, and also the duration of the power steal buff that you can have. Sorry, the power burn buff, that's the one. So yeah, some really interesting effects there. And on the odd combo, you can decrease ability accuracy, so you could potentially prevent certain regens on, like, you know, Iron Man and Ultron and stuff if needed. And also increases the debuff duration, which is basically can be used to make your parries a lot longer, or used to prolong the duration of poison. So there's some very interesting stuff just from the signature ability that you can do there. Gains additional energy resistance while blocking, can sometimes be a little bit useful there. Again, regenerates health at the start of the fight. Again, this is pretty much doubled if you have him awakened. So it's about 30% of Dr. Voodoo's maximum health at the start of the fight. And then all attacks have a chance to place a lower, so a lower is basically like a blank buff, and you can convert that into a poison or kind of a power drain debuff. And the poison is really, really interesting. So the special one envenoms the opponent and has a 50% chance to convert a buff into poison. But when you have when you're possessed by Brother Daniel, again, this is a 100% chance to convert all of the buffs into poison. So I think there's some very, very interesting stuff you can do with Dr. Voodoo, especially against like bosses like Realm of Legends Wolverine or anybody with insane regeneration. Just get like, I don't know, 100 stacks of lower. Might do it, 100, 120 stacks, and then just completely annihilate them with a special one attack while you're possessed. And it's going to 100%, you know, apply like 120 stacks of poison, and they're probably going to die pretty quickly. But we need to test that out a little bit more. We did a Realm of Legends Winter Soldier run on the live stream earlier, but yeah, really, really interested to get stuck into Voodoo. Now, one of the very interesting things about Dr. Voodoo is just his kind of power with Mystic Dispersion, because Mystic Dispersion, again, nullifying buffs is going to give you so much power. So along with like dealing a lot of damage and stacking a lot of lower, he does have some very, very interesting power control on his special too. So using an even combo basically will give you a buff which will burn power, and if you're using an odd combo, it will do like a target power leak. But whenever you're using the special attack too, ideally you want the buff on yourself, and especially if you've him awakened, that's going to be a 100% chance to burn 2.5% of your opponent's power, and also deal a substantial amount of energy damage every time you attack on top of that. So yeah, really, really good addition there. And kind of combining that special attack too with special attack 3 and the debuff from that, which will apply a power leech, it's actually pretty easy to get your opponent's power like fully locked down. So some really, really interesting applications there to Voodoo. So yeah, overall, Voodoo's just like a great champion, like has reliable nullify on the level 1, power control mechanics, regeneration, additional resistance while blocking, defensive ability accuracy reduction. Like there's a lot you can do with Dr. Voodoo. So really, really solid champion. And then finally, we have Scarlet Witch. So Scarlet Witch, again, she got nerfed a little bit in the patch. I'd say she's probably about 30%, 40%, maybe a little bit more less effective than she was before. She still hits really, really hard, still does a substantial amount of damage, still has a very, very powerful nullify on pretty much every critical hit. Special attack 2 still has a huge crit bonus, and she still has a completely like wipe the slate nullifier with a special attack 3. But her Veil of Fortune, you know, especially if you've got it kind of over dupe level 60, it's still very, very powerful. You're still going to be seeing a lot of procs for Fury, regeneration, increased critical damage, stun, power drain, power lock. There's a lot she can do with her Veil of Fortune ability still, and I think she's a good champion, but now more than ever, like, it's just a complete random fiesta. You'll have fights where you won't get the procs and stuff won't go your way, and you'll have fights where everything will go absolutely perfectly. But there's still a lot of potential in Scarlet Witch. We managed to do a Realm of Legends run where we cleared up to Wolverine, and we had a pretty good run of Wolverine, even with kind of the nerf version of Scarlet Witch without using any boosts. So yeah, it's pretty overpowered that 550 Scarlet Witch could kind of out damage that amount of healing before the patch, but it was a potential strategy. But now she doesn't quite have that damage output. However, on most of the fights, still finishing like every fight in clearly under like 300 hits, and that's about 500,000 and a bit health. So yeah, still really good damage output overall. Still quite a hard hitter. She's got additional random utility, so I'd say Scarlet Witch is still a very solid champion to go for. Again, in terms of the Mystic class, I think that's pretty much it for my top 5, but I just want to cover, like, there are so many amazing champions as well that didn't quite make the cut. But I want to give some honorable mentions, especially to Mordo. Mordo was probably number 6 for me. I really like Mordo, but he's not very good offensively. I've seen a lot of people play him, and his damage just seems very lackluster. His special 3 hits like a bit of a wet noodle, and he's just really lacking utility in comparison. But Mordo is an exceptional character just to always have online sword defense. He is so perfect for that, but doesn't really have any additional uses outside of that. That's why I decided to kind of bump DORMAMMU up above Mordo, although Mordo is very good for prestige as well. He's, I believe, still currently the top 4-star, so has a solid use there, so I'll give him a shout out. Also, Guillotine, really great champion there. Love Guillotine so much. Her heal reversal and bleeds are awesome. I think if you get a 5-star Guillotine, you can be pretty damn happy about that. And also, she can regenerate a little bit with her duped ability as well. Some other great characters, Juggernaut or Unstoppable Colossus, both great for Alliance War defense. But yeah, then you have the likes of Iron Fist, got hit by the nerf hammer, an adjustment to kind of crit rating a little bit too much with this patch. He's definitely gone down in value in my opinion. Doctor Strange as well, just doesn't quite regen like he used to. His regeneration is now very lackluster in comparison to Ghost Riders, and plus Ghost Rider now has like all this insane utility as well that he can use alongside this really good regeneration. So yeah, not really feeling the Doctor Strange hype right now, but he might get buffed up. Hopefully he gets some adjustments. Who else do we have? Loki. Loki's a fun novelty character to play as a buff stealer, and for Jane Foster. She's quite fun to play with the stuns, but yeah, you need to have a stun immune opponent. Doesn't really have an opponent that is not immune to stun, and doesn't really have any other applications. And finally, let's just cover the 3-star Hood as well. So Hood is a really fun character to play. Has some really solid utility. Preemptive Nullify, has a Fate Seal on his level 2, reduces ability accuracy, has invisibility. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with Hood, but I don't think he quite makes the top 5 cut in my opinion, although he's a very fun character to play. So I really do like Hood as well. We did a video a few days ago, if you want to see it, showcasing some Hood gameplay, where we took out Venom in Act 4, and it was so much fun, even with a 3-star Hood. Really solid damage champion solid champion in terms of his damage output. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I've been blabbering on for way too long. Hope you enjoyed this video and got a bit of an insight into what I believe are some of the top Mystic characters at the moment. Do you agree? Do you think certain champions should be ranked differently? What are your thoughts and opinions on these champions? Let me know in the comments below. Apart from that, thank you for watching the video. Take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.